Sure. So big advantage, the scholarship.
Right.
Don't have to pay so much out of your own
Exactly.
pocket.
Hi Rishil, my name is Ronald Netawat. You can call me Ron, and I'm this year's full tuition scholar to Ohio Wesleyan University. I'll be studying astrophysics there at the Ohio Wesleyan Honors Program, and it's really great to have you here. Can you introduce yourself briefly?
Sure, Ron. Nice to meet you. I am Rishil Sheth. I was a Next Genius. I was a Next Genius scholar back in 2016, I believe. That was the first year of the Next Genius program.
Right.
And I went to Wheaton College for 4 years. I studied quantitative finance, graduated in 2020, and I've been working here for another year in finance, fintech industry,
Sure.
currently in Boston.
All right, that's great. So we have a list of questions prepared for you, and this questionnaire, this interview, or rather a conversation, is going to help the future students who will be applying to Next Genius colleges or basically any college abroad from India. So the first question that I have is related to the Next Genius scholarship. And the question is that how was your experience as a Next Genius scholar at your university at Wheaton College? So did you face any advantages or disadvantages as a Next Genius scholar?
Sure. So big advantage, the scholarship.
Right.
Don't have to pay so much out of your
Exactly.
own pocket. But
Right.
honestly, being the first, so it was me and Anushka, two of us were the first students there in Wheaton College with the Next Genius Scholarship. It was in its first
Right.
year, so not a lot of people really knew about it. But the great thing
Right.
about Next Genius is the kind of networking it got along with. So when the interview took place, we actually got to meet President Hanna, who was the president of Wheaton College, and Grant Coslin, who was another person at admissions office. And Wheaton being a small school, there's a lot of communication that happens within the departments, with the people who are working, and not necessarily in an academic role, but in even a faculty supporting role. So just knowing these people going in was a big advantage because they would introduce me
Sure.
to other people as well as recommend me to do different classes or activities on campus. And
Right.
so in that way, it was really cool. It was unique in its own way. And as the 4 years for me progressed over at Wheaton College, more and more Next Genius students came each year. So we have kind of we can say we have a kind of a little Next Genius community of students, and
Right. All right.
it has its own special place, I think.
Sure.
But yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
that.
So the next question is for someone from a country like India, which is so diverse in the cultural aspects, and which is completely in stark contrast to the culture that is there in the United States of America. How significant was the cultural shock moving to a different country as an Indian student, and how did you, if you did, cope with it?
Right. All right. So I think, firstly, great thing about American universities in general is that a lot of people from international countries, different international backgrounds, like going to college here. It's a great education system, has
Right.
its own perks, and like any place, pros and cons. But great education system, and a lot of people from different parts of the world come in. So it's never like you're by yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to meet a bunch of other international students who are going through the same experience as you. And not just that, you're going to meet a bunch of local students who are not really from where the university is, right? So you might be living on the West Coast, you might even be living a few states south or north of where you are, and you're in a new place with a bunch of new people. So
Right.
there is differences in that sense. US is very culturally diverse. In fact,
Yo.
people have backgrounds from all over the world who are living in the United States.
Right.
So you're going to see different cultures here, you're going to see different people here, and especially campuses are big proponents of practicing various cultures. So like, at Wheaton College, we had Diwali festivals, and people were more enthusiastic about watching Bollywood movies every now and then. We have Bollywood music playing at parties and
Right.
even at some of the festivals we organize, and similarly other cultures too. So you get to learn a lot of different cultures.
All right, cool. That's a good way to look at it. Can you tell us something about the challenges or obstacles that you faced during your journey throughout the 4 years at college, and how did you overcome these challenges, and what were some defining learnings that you acquired through these experiences?
So I think very often I hear this from a lot of people. It's not where you are that matters, it's who you are with that matters. So I think what really helped me work with a lot of challenges that I had, I'll go to more concrete examples in a bit, but really helped me is my friends and family. And when I say family, yeah, my family was halfway across the world, but also the friends or the Wheaton family that I created with the people whom I see every day, my roommate, the people in classes that, I really gotten close with, became buddies and hung out. So I think peer-to-peer is always a great resource. Somebody who's going through the same experience as you is going to be able to give you better advice on how to deal with it than somebody who's done it 10 years ago or has never done it, right? So the network is what matters. I think the friends is what matters. So be outside your comfort zone, make friends, get to know people, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because that's very important. In terms of challenges, I think every kind of a school has its own pros and cons. Wheaton was a liberal arts school, in which sense I got a great I was really fortunate to be exposed to a lot of cultural aspects of the United States of America, and essentially get a better understanding of a lot of social justice inequalities, which I never got to learn about being in high school in Mumbai. And, not a part of our culture, at least at home, talk about these things as much as they were spoken about on campus. So I think in one way it just broadened my eyes and made me realize that just because there's a first world country doesn't mean first world countries don't have issues that need to be really dealt with. And there are certain issues around the world that really need to be addressed, right? And also make me kind of more sensitive to other people's needs and my own needs, and be in touch with my emotions better. So that was a great thing. But on the other end of it, I felt like, especially in the industry that I wanted to work in, fintech, I needed more rigor academically. I needed more industry knowledge, which requires a strong alum network in that specific industry, or even, just more resources that a bigger school would have in a specific industry. So for those things, I think was one of my biggest challenges, was just trying to navigate and get that foot into a bigger finance firm. And for that, I think what really helped me was just getting outside my comfort zone, reaching out to people, not just from school, but even from outside school, cold calling people on LinkedIn, sending emails, trying to really get my network out, as well as preparing, the best thing to deal with anything is having foresight that, this is going to be something I have to deal with in the future. So let me start preparing for it. So just looking at different job descriptions of the kind of things I wanted to do, and then understanding like what's really going on in the industry, or maybe reading news to understand what's going on in the industry, and then picking up on things that, I think I should learn out of curiosity and passion. So those things really helped me in terms of that academic balance between coming from a liberal arts education, which is not a target school for a big finance firm, to a guy who wants to be working in a place like that.
Definitely. That makes sense. Yeah. So talking about Wheaton College, how did Wheaton help you find such opportunities in your major, which is finance and technology, and contribute to your future plans?
So I think where Wheaton really helped me was being able to create my own major. I joined Wheaton College as a religion major, and that was just because, I was curious about religion. I was curious about philosophy, about life.
Same here.
And that was a great opportunity for me. Read a lot, learned a lot. Realized eventually that this is not something I really want to work in, and it's cool studying this, but arguments in class about life, about philosophical topics in general go in circles, and I want to do something more concrete for myself. Like, this is a cool passion to pursue outside. So then I eventually switched to the business major, but the business major again was very liberal arts focused, especially at Wheaton College. And I knew I wanted to work in finance because of just the kind of exposure I've had growing up, just looking at other business people around me. And one of my aunts was a big role model who started from nowhere and is a big private equity manager now. So we always had great conversations about companies, valuation, and so that was my interest towards finance. So I started taking more econ courses, and then eventually I took a few tech courses because I started seeing jobs which spoke about, the need to learn some basic software skills. And in my junior year, when I actually took a course in Python, I realized how cool software programming was. I'm not a software programmer. I wouldn't want to take that title. That's a lot more work than I do. But I realized the power of it and fun behind it. So the cool thing that really helped me with was saying, all right, all this said and done, I want to create my own major, which is a mix of computer science, finance, econ, business, and math. And these were things all that, I feel I'm very fortunate because I see a lot of friends who are doing a particular major and they have to study all these prereqs, etc., etc. For me, throughout my entire college, every single class I've done is out of interest. There's not one class I can think of that I have done which was for a major or degree or anything else. I didn't care about my GPA, I didn't care about any of those things. I cared about learning and knowing what I wanted to know. And Wheaton really supported me in that, and Wheaton really supported me in coming to at the end moment and saying, all right, I want to create my major and get this done in a year. And they made sure the paperwork went through in a year, and I was able to really use all those classes together. So that's where Wheaton helped me. In terms of job search, I think that's a department where Wheaton as a college can improve. But again, job search is not something that you're restricted to your college with. That's something that should be in your own hand.
Definitely.
And very often I came in, I see a lot of people, a lot of students, from India, other places in the world are coming in to college, come in with this perspective that the college is going to give you a job, and that's not true. Maybe in some institutions, very famous universities, you might get an interview, but you are going to give yourself that job, and that comes from your passion, your knowledge, and your skills. So, spend that time and indulge in your intellectual curiosity. It's going to get you what you need. So I think, that's one of the places definitely I think Wheaton can grow in, but it has been very supportive in an academic way. Professors have been very supportive in terms of helping me with just getting a deeper understanding of things. I want to get an understanding of having that open conversation whenever I wanted to. I could just walk in, set up a dinner. In fact, next month, I'm going to go out for dinner with one of my econ professors back from Wheaton. And that has been really helpful in terms of just opening my eyes. But at the same time, I think it's important to push towards the career. And I know that Wheaton has been taking some steps to improve that part of the school's program. And I'm sure that, by the time the next students come in, it will be something bigger than what it was when I was there.
Sure, definitely amazing. And what would be your advice to, for example, if I'm about to go to the United States in the next 2 months and I'll be open to this entire new world and I'll see a lot of new things and stuff. So what do you think, since you're a fintech guy and into the finances and stuff, what do you think that you should spend your time and money and energy on these things and not spend your time, money, energy on these things? What would be your advice?
That's a very tough question, right? Because I don't think there's a definite right or wrong on any side of things. I think you should have every experience at least once and make that decision for yourself. Because, if you don't see it for yourself, there will always be a part of you which is curious about something. And that's something I've learned all throughout my life. And I've seen my parents giving me advice, everyone giving me advice, and I still wouldn't do it. But then, when I learn for myself, I will do something. This is not to say my parents were and other people in my life were always right, but this is just to say learning is a process for yourself. So yes, you should do everything once. I think very often people think it is bad, especially coming from my culture. I think very often people think, especially like the way I was growing around, people I saw growing up, it's bad to, always go out, spend money on drinking, spend money on other things. But I think it's nice to actually go out, get a drink with your friend every now and then. Meet new people, because meeting people is the best way to learn. Because, as one person, you can only do so many things. But the moment you start speaking to a lot of different people from different backgrounds who might do completely different things to you, you'll pick up something you never thought, you needed. And, it might even help you in your work or something else. Networking is key. And, we're social beings. So use that part of your lifestyle and be brave, be bold. I think spending money on experiences is never a bad thing. I think it's a great thing. So spend money on different experiences. If you don't like something, you don't have to do it again. And that means, you need to be stern with yourself that I'm not going to spend money on this again. Another thing, spending money on, would be stupid would be to say like spending money on like crazy expensive electronics and things which you really like you don't need. But like very often like I see parents who are coming here and they're like, oh, you're going to the cold, you need to buy all these things. You don't really need to buy all these things. Like, you need to figure it out. Leave your child, let them come here and settle that by themselves and figure it out by themselves. They are an adult, and if you need to pack their bags for them and send them with all these things, right? Maybe it's you're taking away the experience that they really need to grow and become who they will. So don't spend money on all those things. Like, come here, figure it out, and you will. And don't get carried away by like various. Like another thing is spring break. Spring breaks. A lot of times people like going on nice spring break trips. I myself have never gone on a spring break trip. Money was tight for me, and I know that very often spring break vacations are more about partying and drinking. And I don't think that, like, at least honestly, I've never gone on one, so I can't say that those won't be networking opportunities as such. But I don't know what they'd really be like.
Definitely.
But they are expensive, and things around that time is very expensive. So that's something I avoided for myself. But I mean, I would support somebody if they really wanted to with new people and meet new people. So definitely.
Sure. All right, that was great. And what would be your tips or advice for an incoming international student? And also, if you have any specific tips particularly for students who will be going to Wheaton College this year?
Sure. Okay. So first, let's go international incoming students. Keep an open mind. Don't have pre-decided notions of how certain people are or how certain people behave. Come out with an open mind. Learn new things. Speak to everybody, and be nice to everyone. Unless otherwise they give you option. They give you a reason to not be nice to them, in which case you gotta be stern and hold your ground. And say yes to new experiences and really do some soul searching. I think that's very important. I think that's something that, especially like living. This is again back to my experience, right? Because I don't know how other people live, but I feel like there's a lot of interruptions back home, especially from family, other people are around me, constantly like having one thing to do and then another. So you don't get so much time to really think for yourself, reflect. So use that time, spend that time in nature, wherever you prefer in your room. Do some reflection. Really ask yourself, do you really love what you think you want to do? And are you going to be okay spending the rest of your life doing it? And if not, then it's okay to not know that. You don't need to know in your senior year what you are exactly going to do. It's okay.
That was amazing, and that was the end of our questionnaire and the conversation, and it was absolutely fantastic talking to you, and all the pieces of advice that you've given and all the experiences that you shared were literally amazing, and I found them absolutely great. And thank you so much for taking out the time and having this conversation for the future students and the next senior scholars, and it will be a great help for everyone. So any concluding statement or anything that you'd like to say for the future next senior students or anyone going abroad?
I think firstly, congratulations to everybody who won the next senior scholarship. I bet you worked really hard.
Sure.
I got lucky, it was first year, not a lot of students applying, so I really got lucky. My place is not high up there with academic work, but next is a great program. I think a big reason that it worked for me was because it was not like other academic tests or exams. It was very different, and that really worked well with me. Like my grades and my next senior's performance don't correlate. But outside of that, just good luck. Be yourself and be open to new experiences, and I really honestly look forward to hearing from any and every one of you. If you ever need help, if you want somebody to talk to or somebody to just listen to anything you have to say, I'm more than happy to help. Always wanting to see more and more students succeed. I know I had a great opportunity, and I want every one of you to have that great opportunity and experience. So feel free to reach out, add me on LinkedIn or whatever, and